Hello and welcome. Today we are going to discuss a foundational issue that I believe is so important that all else is built upon what you decide or discover after this presentation. If you don't get this right, then you are or will be working on a foundation of sand. You will have no stability, no strength or power, and will be wandering through life without direction. I call this process building your dream. Before we start, think of this quick analogy. Say you are captain of a ship sitting in the Long Beach harbor. You are told to ship the cargo on board to Honolulu, Hawaii. You accept the task, get your ship underway, and leave the port. Right after you start steaming along, your rudder stops working, you lose your map, and your navigational equipment blows up. All you can see is blue ocean all around you. What do you think the chances are of you actually ending up in Honolulu? Probably about 1,000,000 to 1. And yet, with this being so obvious, many of us do not even have clearly defined goals and a game plan to accomplish those goals. We go through life without a rudder and without a map and no navigation equipment to boot. How can we complain when we don't end up rich and successful? The answer is we can't. It's like complaining about politicians when you don't vote. You must have a clearly defined and written goal or purpose and a game plan to make that goal become a reality. Only then do you have the slightest chance of obtaining real success. So what we are going to discuss and determine for you now is building your dream. It starts with determining your be, your do, and your have. In short, who do you need to be, what are you going to do, and what will be the result, or what will you get from the being and doing that is your have. When we were young, everybody always asks, what are you going to be when you grow up? Usually you have no idea, and then you just say something like a fireman or astronaut. In truth, such a question is actually a lot to confront, and it is starting from the wrong direction. First, you must determine what you want to have. Then decide what you're going to do to get it. Then determine who you need to be to get that reward or result. Looking at it in the reverse direction from the have is how you build your dream. Okay, so first you need to determine what you want to have. What is your dream scene, as I like to call it? What does it look like? Is it a fancy car, a huge house, exotic travel, $10 million in the bank? Or maybe it is recognition for and a good feeling you get helping people improve their health, helping to elevate their lifestyle. Maybe it's fixing the environment or helping the homeless. Whatever it is, it must be very real to you. You must really be willing to own it and make it yours. You must have an emotional connection because this is what will keep you going when the going gets tough. To determine what you want, you must be very, very honest with yourself. This is when it is time to get real. Sit by yourself in a quiet space where you will not be interrupted. Then start writing out exactly what you want to have. What does your dream scene look like? Be very specific in your description. For example, don't say, be rich. What does be rich mean to you? Is it $1 million in the bank, liquid, or maybe 10 million, or 100? Be specific. Another example is to earn more money. Not specific enough. Instead, state to earn an extra $5,000 per week, for example, through the Real Balance program. That is more specific. At first, this may be difficult, and a little voice may start telling you, this exercise is stupid, or you never need to be able to accomplish this, or whatever. Don't listen to the doubt. Keep describing, keep writing, keep at it. After a while, it will start to get easier, and you will arrive at your dream scene. It will come together, so to speak. Please note that as you write this out and think about it, it may change from what you originally thought it would be. That is okay. Just keep at it until a little light goes off in your head and say to yourself, this is what I want in life. This is it. This will make me happy. You will have a sense of enthusiasm and a strong desire to get going. That fire in your belly will have been ignited. You are then on the right track. Now, before you dismiss this and brush it off, I want you to consider this. Written goals are so important. Everybody always talks about them, and yet so few actually figure out their dream scene. Just to illustrate how important goals are, Harvard Business School, yes, the most respected business school on the planet, did a study regarding goals all the way back in 1979. The study found that 3%, that is only 3% of the students had clear and written goals. And these are business students, mind you. And yet, this mere 3% were earning, on average, 10 times as much as the other 97% together. Did you get that? 10 times more than the other 97% combined. If that does not hit you on the head and tell you you must have clearly defined written goals, I don't think you are ready for success. If you do have goals written and defined, well done, you're on your way. With such a profound statistic of proof, why doesn't everyone write down their goals? It should be a no-brainer, right? So your first and most important task is determine what are your goals. What is your dream scene? If you have not done it, you must. Let me say this again. You must figure out what you want to have. Be specific. Put it in writing. Do it now. I want to share a personal note here as an example. My first wife was a very nice and beautiful lady. However, we had different purposes and goals. She wanted a very structured middle-class lifestyle, while I wanted to push the envelope and really go for it. The result of this clash of purposes was it caused her a lot of stress and me a lot of frustration, because from my viewpoint, she just didn't get it. After we divorced, I dated a number of women, and for various reasons, they just didn't work out. After a few years, I decided I need to fix this situation and find the one. I need to stop spinning my wheels in this area of my life. So what I did was I spent a long weekend and I wrote out exactly the traits I wanted in my next wife. I was very specific: the color of her hair, her goals, her demeanor, her ambition level, etc. After many drafts, I ended with a page and a half, single-spaced, describing my future wife. I carried this description around with me in my pocket and read it regularly. Then after a few months, I was introduced to Amy. We had a whirlwind romance, fell in love, and got married. We spent almost every hour together and really enjoyed being with each other. It was, for me, a dream come true. The process worked. I know. I have the result to prove it. I ask you, take a look at my wife and you tell me if it worked or not. Okay, enough about me. Once you have your very detailed written goals, what you're going to have, your dream scene, it is time to turbocharge the process. You do this through visualization. Take your written dream scene and go through the items every day in the morning and every night before you go to bed. Really, experience the result of having the dream scene. If you want a new car, drive it, experience it, admire it, feel the joy. Be specific. Really visualize the make, the model, the color, the texture of the seats, everything about it. Another great tool for this is to create your own vision board. A vision board has pictures of your dream scene. Mine is across from my desk in my office on the wall. Every time I look up, I'm reminded of what I will create in my life. Once I create or obtain one of the items on my vision board, I replace it then with a bigger item and a bigger dream. I up the ante, so to speak, on my dream scene. What these tools, visualization and vision board, do is put us in a specific mindset. You're thinking positively about what you want and will have. Your mind then goes to work to create these things for you in the physical world. You are not certain exactly how, but that will unfold in the days and weeks to come. I'd like to point out something here. So many of us get bogged down in what I call the mechanics of something and how it will get done. These are the laws of physics, the 1 + 1 = 2. Don't worry about this initially. You're creating in your mind's eye, so to speak. You are not concerned with the mechanics of how exactly you will get it done. The specific mechanics will come later. The key to this is that your creative thoughts will control the physical world. The Bible talks about the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. All great philosophies have a similar message. Napoleon Hill famously said in his best-selling book, Think and Grow Rich, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe, he will achieve." If you have not read Think and Grow Rich, I very highly recommend it. It is a must-read for anyone who wants to create wealth or a successful business. Additionally, more recently, a movie called The Secret describes the visualization process very well. The Secret calls the process the law of attraction. The movie is about an hour and 40 minutes, and it is also very highly recommended. It will really help you understand the visualization and vision board process. Watch it. You will be glad you did. As another example of how this works, in the real world, I like to use our own President Trump to illustrate this truth. And by the way, I have been using this example long before Mr. Trump became President Trump. Okay, in the old days, Mr. Trump would get an idea that at a particular location in New York City, there would be a huge 100-story building, all shiny, big, gold, beautiful. However, when he gets the thought, all there is a vacant plot of land with weeds growing on it. The physical world tells Mr. Trump, no way is there going to be a big and beautiful gold building here. Now, Mr. Trump could accept what the physical world tells him, or he could say, oh yes, there is going to be a big gold building right there. Mr. Trump puts that creation in his mind's eye. He holds it there. He visualizes it. He even builds a mini replica of it. Then he goes into action on it, and guess what? A couple of years later, there is a big, beautiful, shiny gold building right there where there used to be weeds. Mr. Trump trumped the physical world. He won. And it all started with the idea, the creation in his mind. Now, you can write this example off and say, well, yeah, that is because it's Donald J. Trump. This won't work for me. Well, maybe you can't create a 100-plus story building right away, but you could surely start moving your Real Balance business, or increase sales by 50% next quarter, or get that new car. You just have to decide what you're going to do. Write your dream scene with specifics. Create your vision board and visualize every day and do it. Magic will start to happen. Commit to do this for 90 days, every day without fail for 90 days, and I'm positive, I'm sure you will start to see the results. Okay, that wraps up our first segment of the series of Build Your Dream. After you've committed to this segment and done what we have discussed, watch the next segment. You are on your way, as always, to an elevated lifestyle. Thank you.